All right, good morning, guys. It's Richard. It is February 23rd at around 11 a.m. Central Standard Time or 12 p.m. lunchtime Eastern Standard Time. And today, this is price action on the S&P 500 futures. And I had a question from someone in our group that's how can you use Goldbach in a top-down analysis? I believe that was the question, the way he phrased it. But anyway, so you're looking to see, different time frames, trying to see the direction, or try to create some sort of bias for the day. So the way I do this, okay, and it's a little bit different than I used to. I used to just pull up a 4 hour, then a 1 hour, then a 15 minute, and I was just like, hey, which one of these is in an uptrend, which one of these are in a downtrend, with the higher time frame being the holding more weight than the lower time frames. All right, so in other words, if we were on in an uptrend on a 4 hour, but a downtrend in a 15 minute, I was leaning towards the uptrend of the 4 hour. But it makes sense that we'd be looking for a buy on the 15 minute, especially if we're in a downtrend. So if we keep going down to lower time frames, we look for a breaker structure, and then we start trading it long. Now, as you guys know, sometimes that doesn't even happen in a day. It could be in that downtrend on the 15 minute for a day and a half, 2 days, who knows? But this is the way I do it with Goldbach. So you know that Goldbach, or you should know at this point, that Goldbach has different power of three numbers, okay? And this is the way they calculate. Well, I'm not going to tell you how they do it because that's part of the paid subscription from Hoppy, but it's just a calculation, and you don't need to know that calculation for what we're doing here. You look down here at this. I'm looking at the DMN's AMD Goldbach, okay? And I've taken off the AMD boxes, the imbalances, and the GB time. So it's just GB levels and dealing ranges / algo. All right. If you look down here, it highlights of these power of three numbers, what dealing range are they sharing? So if you look here, the power of three at 9, 27, 81, 243, and 729 all share the low of the dealing range of 5103. Okay, so 5103 is approximately, well, it's going to be right there on that low. What am I doing? It's going to be on that low. All right. Right now we're looking at the 729. I'm going to switch it to 243, which is the next smallest power of three. You could also consider this in your mind. It's not the actual, but you could consider it saying, hey, this is now a smaller time frame. It's not really a smaller time frame because I've got this on a 15-minute chart, and it's just a smaller dealing range. All right. So we're still in, close to the low. If we go to 81, power of three, you'll see that we're still in the lower quadrant of the dealing range. So I just said something that was key there, the lower quadrant of the dealing range. So this is the high to the low is the dealing range. Okay, so we know that when we're below 50% of a dealing range, we're in discount and we're looking for buys. When we're above 50% of the dealing range, we're looking for shorts. Okay, so if all of these dealing ranges right here share the same common low of 5103 for their particular dealing range, then we would be looking for longs. Now, that holds true until maybe this power of 3.9 goes to a lower number on the dealing range. And the only way that would happen, and let me go and put it on a 9, that you can see it. And I'm sorry it takes the computations of this indicator. for it to get down here, let me see how I can word this. For this dealing range to change for a lower number of 5103, then it would have to actually start going below 5103, and then a new partition would then print down here, okay? And then this one would go away. So as you can see right now, we are in on this dealing range of 9. We're in the upper quadrant, so that's a conflict, right? We were in the lower quadrants on the larger power of 3 numbers, but now we're in the upper. So are we going to have a retracement back down into this level, or do we continue to move up and then all of a sudden a new partition prints, and then so it'd be up here, and then this one goes away. But as you can see, I mean, it's like that's kind of confusing because you got all these different dealing ranges. That's why I specifically stay in one dealing range. I look at this for a higher time frame, or seeing what all the different dealing ranges are doing to kind of give me a feel for the day. But I like to use 81 and 27 on the ES, and I'll show you why. On 81, most of the price action is inside of that dealing range. If we go to 27, and when I say most of the price action, it's of that day, is usually in there. And I'm looking for the way price is reacting to these different levels, and that kind of tells me which one I'm going to, where to go. Huh. Oh, it didn't work. Let me just go to a different time frame and see if it'll reprint, and I'll go back to a 15-minute. No, it doesn't like it. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes the indicator is just a little bit finicky because it's got all these calculations, and I just have to play around with it for a minute. All right. Give it time. Okay, so now we've got it. Okay. As you can see, the 81 a minute ago, more of the price action was inside of the dealing range. But as you can see from this morning, on this particular one, we're in a premium, and it moved back down into the discount. But on the 81, we're still in the discount. So where do I think price could retrace from? Or excuse me, where do I think price is going, and where do I think it can end up? So we look, and do we have an order block in here? Do we have a fair value gap in here? And the answer is not yet, but we're about to. However, you could, well, it just closed it up. So now we're looking at an OB. So where is the OB? Is it on this time frame? You know, is this the start of it here? Or we could go to a lower time frame and see what it looks like. All right. So is it this entire area? And these are the things that you have to, you know, judge on your own and see how price reacts to it. Some people will say these two candles are the order block. I usually say this is the order block. And I would simply also look at it as, because I'm on a 5-minute now, I want to see how it reacts to this. If the order block's going to hold, how does it react to this level right here, the bottom of the order block, if it gets down there? Okay. But again, I'm on the 27, and I like the 81 more. But before I switch to it, notice how we're below the 50%. We're in the discount area, so we're looking for longs to take it on up. Okay. Now we did actually go in here, but that's too much of a risk for me, because then that would be proving this was wrong, because I don't have any guarantees that it's not going to go down here and print out another partition. But everything's telling me of all the power of 3 numbers that it could be, that they're all sharing the same low dealing range. So that tells me it doesn't give me any reason to think I should be going short, okay? Because everybody's sharing the same. All these are sharing the same low dealing range, all right? So let's go back to the 81, because as you can see, price was respecting these levels. I mean, these were long wicks and such, right? So let's go to an 81 and just see if it looks better. And what I mean by that is stopping to the tick of these goldback levels. Now, here we are here. We had on this candle right here, we had a close, and then on this candle, we had an open. It was right on that line. If you look at this top of this candle here, it was right on that line. If you look at the top of this candle right here with the wick, it's right at that line. So to me, this is close. To me, it's respecting the 81 power of 3 closer. And I find that to be on most days. Okay. That's why I use the 81. If you notice in other videos, I used 243 for NQ, and I like to use the 3 or the 9 for crude oil. All right, and that's just because I'm watching to see how price is respecting these levels. Now, if I come in here one day and I see that the ES is respecting the 27 level more, meaning I have exact touches, no wicks jumping all over the place. Now, it's not going to be like that on every single level, but there's more that are respecting this level. Right? That's why, are the of the lines, that's why I would be looking at this. Okay, so today was a good day to actually do this video because of how many of the different dealing ranges were sharing the low of 5103. All right. And again, that's the bias right now. As you know, if you were doing biases the way that ICT taught them, it could change. You'd be like, oh, I'm wrong. And then you would flip your bias. Right now, I'm going to be looking at longs. Okay. And then whatever entry criteria you have, that is, that's what you use. I try to find levels that match up with the gold bond. All right. That way it tells me I'm going with the algorithm. All right. So I think that's all I wanted to cover today. I like to keep these videos under 10 minutes because I know when I watch other people's videos, if it gets over 10 minutes, I start to get antsy. I'm already at the 12-minute mark right now, so I apologize for a little bit longer video. I hope this kind of clears up and gives you a little bit more, a different look at Goldbach and the different power of threes. And again, just look at these. These are the different dealing ranges of swings. All right. Know that the 243 is going to hold more weight than the 81. The 81 is going to hold more weight than the 27. But then I dial into whichever dealing range seems to where price is respected the most because I'm a day trader. I'm not a swing trader. All right. Anyway, I hope this helps. And I think that I'm going to set up a Zoom call with the person in our group, and we're going to do it on Monday, and we'll talk about this some more. And if anything else comes out of that conversation, which it probably will, both, because we're still learning together, all of us, and maybe I'll do another video after that call. All right, thanks a lot, guys.